Good morning, everybody. And David Atkins here, and I have the pleasure of speaking with Jonda. Um, and she's been targeted for years now. She's not, but it became overt, it looks like last year. Um, but, I've been starting out reading a devotion before we start our question. So here it is. We live an extraordinarily lonesome life on earth while there's a battle being waged for our soul in heavens. Human beings were created to interact with each other. Smear campaigns have caused most of them to abandon us. And since we have an inner need to connect with people, we often make bad choices. We can easily be pulled into having a conversation with a neighbor only to be left suffering the consequences of a cheap shot directed at us. We may know our neighbor's part of the harassment group, yet we still incongruously interact in conversation with him. We ridiculously think if we can get him to like us, they won't hurt us. The fact is, these people do not care about us. Even if they did, it does not matter, and their job is to kill us. Gang stalkers always want to have power over the target. Therefore, they creep around our lives. They work on instilling fear in us, sheer terror sometimes. Even if we are loners, a neighbor may be instructed to pull us into an over-the-fence conversation simply to drop hints that will trigger us. These hints are custom made just for us. They are the things we would only understand. If we stay away from people who are involved in destroying us, we will not have to waste energy trying to recover from their cheap shots. I rebuke all destruction from my gates in the name of Jesus. Isaiah 60:18. And my first question is,
Amen to that.
could you tell me, that's just what I asked everybody, what your life was like, just a brief summary of what your life was like before you're targeted and what it's like now?
So before I was targeted, when we lived in Ohio, pretty normal life. I always worked in fast food management, but then I started having health problems, and then I quit and COVID hit. So I basically was your average housewife. Just stayed around the house, loved the garden. I used to
Happy-go-lucky,
raise
would you say?
butterflies. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Now we moved to West Virginia, so I don't know anybody here. Just one couple. My husband's mom passed away a few months ago, and she was also targeted. Um, she was 91 years old. We came here seeking a peaceful life, not knowing what was going on until after we got here. So I feel like we kind of drug her in the mix with us, which is
Right.
really, really sad because she was a really, really good woman. So that just breaks my heart. But so she's gone, and her 97-year-old boyfriend, he's leaving too. So my husband is pretty much, him and his brother are the only people I really know here.
Wow.
So I try to stay active. We live in a big house, and my perps have infiltrated the house whenever we leave or if I go on trips with my husband. But I'm afraid to stay here by myself, so I go with him on the
Yeah, I
trips.
don't blame you there.
Yeah, he doesn't want me here alone. We're not sure what they'd do if I was here by myself.
Well,
I
so when
know
y'all
when
leave
we
the
were
house, what happens? Do they move things around? Do they take stuff? Do they damage stuff?
Oh yeah, when we went to California, when we came back, I had bought a bumper sticker and I laid it on the coffee table. It's gone. Uh, I got glasses last year. I haven't seen them for probably 3 or 4 months now. I can't find them.
Hmm.
Um, I'll find like um, sometimes like if we're going to a family thing or around the holidays, I'll put on those fake nails. I find them all over the house. I find staples all over the house. I find mouse poison all over the house.
Wow,
So,
and y'all don't buy mouse poison, right?
well, she had some out, and then right after we moved here, a cat showed up. And you could tell he was an indoor cat. He was real lovey and everything. Well, they started targeting him, and I think they actually dropped the cat off. But they started targeting him, and I ended up getting rid of him because I didn't want to see him go through it. I had picked up all the poison that she had out, and then it kept showing up. Like, and I've been finding like 2 pieces of cat food and webbing in different drawers and stuff around the house.
Yeah.
So the cat's been gone since last winter. So there hasn't been cat food in the house since last winter.
Right.
So,
Have you ever, how did you find out what a target individual was, and what made you come to the realization, hey, this might be me?
so after they followed us from Ohio, I was like, this is too big just to be. First we thought, well, maybe our neighbors were in some kind of militia group or something and online, and they followed us here. Because I found out that my son's ex-girlfriend was in on it, and she was asking a bunch of questions. So at first I thought it was just them. And then I just started looking up, like, what kind of lights would cause harm, because I didn't know anything about direct energy weapons. And so it was, UV, UVA, and then I started seeing different posts. So I started reading about it online. And I was like, that's what's going on. And then we started with the drones, I started seeing them. We live in rural West Virginia. There's not an airport close to our house. And I downloaded Flight Tracker, and I'll go out on the front porch at night and we'll see 5 or 6 planes every time we go outside to smoke a cigarette. You can get on Flight Tracker and no planes go by. So it's just, it's kind of
Oh
crazy.
yeah, because West Virginia is really, really rural.
Well, the thing is, the government owns, my husband's dad sold 10 acres across the road to the government. So the government owns 10 to 15 acres of land right across the street from my house,
Wow.
up in the mountains. And I'm down in the valley.
Wow. So I seen that when you were posting your evidence on Facebook, I think it was earlier this year or last year, you were moving around some. Could you tell us about your experiences moving around? Like, were you getting hit with direct energy weapons? Were you getting stalked everywhere? Could you kind of tell me about your experiences? Because I knew you were in New Orleans for a minute, and then I seen a video and you were somewhere else.
Yeah, my husband, with his work, he has to do like trade shows.
Mm-hmm.
So he would take me with him. We went to New Orleans, San Antonio, and California, and Cincinnati. So Cincinnati was super bad. I had to move my room, and they put me at the end of the hall with the elevator stairwell, which at the point I was still learning about what was going on. So when we got to New Orleans, I was finding stuff in the room. I did a video, I was taping it, and we were getting hit in the hotel room. Well, I did the same thing in San Antonio and still got hit bad. But when I went to California, I didn't post anything. I didn't talk about any of it. And I was getting hit. I could feel it, but I didn't say anything. And it wasn't as bad. So I think because I brought it to attention in the other towns, that maybe that's why I was getting hit so hard in the
Right.
hotel. But I saw the back of the TV. They put us in a suite, and I saw the back of a TV light up one night. in the hotel room. So they go ahead of you. Like we stayed, one of the shows was in a Marriott.
Yeah.
The room was $350 a night, and they were there. My husband's like, they won't be there. This show's been booked for a year, and the rooms are super expensive. They won't be there. Yeah, they were there. Definitely there. In California and in San Antonio, when I'm walking around, I had, people following me. I could feel the weapon on me. I had one girl like pretty much grab my phone out of my hand to take my picture in San Antonio.
Wow.
But I've gotten pretty good about blowing off the gang stalkers as much as I can. Like if somebody starts talking real loud, I'll be like, yeah, trying to grab my attention. I just tune them out or move. When the first time my husband got gang stalked, we were at Western Sizzlin Buffet.
Yeah, I know. I
He
used
went
to
in the
eat at Western
bathroom.
Sizzlin. That's a good little place to eat. Good little restaurant.
Yeah, he went in the bathroom, and when he came out of the bathroom, one of the workers came out of the next stall and was just standing behind him, like real close up behind him, and pointed at him when he came out of the bathroom. And I told him, I said, they're just gang stalking you. I said, just ignore them. I said, just ignore them, act like they aren't there. I said, he was standing there when I came out of the bathroom too. So, but the worst
Yeah,
gang stalking was my very first one. I took my husband's Jeep to the Jeep dealer, and I'm sitting in the waiting room, and all the employees came out, and they had something going on with Congress. And I was looking at my phone because I had read about gang stalking, but I hadn't really experienced it to my knowledge. And I was sitting in the waiting room, and all these employees of the Jeep dealership sat down, and they start talking politics. And Jim Jordan was there, testifying in Congress for something. And I said, oh, they said something about politics. And I said, oh, I don't really follow politics. And just kept scrolling on my phone, and I went outside and smoked a cigarette to get away from them. So then I go back in, and this white car pulls up, and there's two guys dressed in black and a woman dressed in black. And I'm sitting there looking at my phone, and the one guy kept saying, I got Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I got Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Well, that's what my husband drinks. So I went outside, and I stayed outside. Then next thing, and I think, I'm sitting there thinking, well, are they getting their car work on? I'm standing outside talking to my husband on the phone. They come outside, get in a car, go to drive off, and the guy flicks his teeth at me, and I flicked my teeth back at him. So they weren't even there to have service done or anything. They were just there to gang stalk me. So that
right.
was my very first known experience with gang stalking.
Did y'all experience smear campaigns? Friends suddenly just stop talking to you. Family just suddenly
Oh
breaking.
yeah, yeah. In Ohio, big time. And I was called a drug dealer by my son's ex-girlfriend that moved in next to us, which is ridiculous. But the whole neighborhood turned against us. So here, I don't know anybody, and I don't know what has been said about me here. So
Right. Do you think something has been said about
but
you
I do
there?
know, yeah, because I said something about wanting to go back to church, and when I say that, people are like, act like, why you in church? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's real weird. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's why Me and Holly basically have a church here. Um, you
I
know,
usually watch it on TV.
and we were talking last night, I bet there's some people that get so traumatized by this program and, from the first stages of gang stalking and stuff that the perps could just back off and the rest of their life they would be so traumatized they would think everything was a setup and do all that. They wouldn't even have to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, right.
I
Oh
mean, it's
yeah.
so
Oh yeah.
traumatic what they put us through. It's just unbelievable.
Because right, and then once, like now, if I do meet somebody, I'm like, are they in on it?
Right.
And,
So it,
but I'm
it
at the
makes you
point
leery for
where
anybody.
I don't care anymore about me personally. That's the way to be. If that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
they can do whatever they want to me. I hope that they will be exposed. These direct energy weapons, it's a crock of bull. You can go on DARPA's website and it'll tell you right there what they are, but they don't use them on civilians or animals. Well, who do
And
they
you
use them on then?
and you were saying it was like he was living in a haunted house?
When I lived actually in Connecticut, and that was back in 1983. The house we lived in Marion, you would see like a black shadow, and I kept telling my husband, I said, we have a ghost. And my son's ex-girlfriend saw it. She was with me. He was out of town. She was staying with me that night, and she thought I was in his office cleaning, and I was in the back bathroom cleaning. So
Yeah,
here I
Robert Duncan
haven't, like,
said they can do that with direct energy weapons, make your house seem like it's haunted.
yeah, and we lived in that house for 11 years.
Where?
Marion.
We
Right.
were there in 7 and went off to, or no, in 2007.
But I just thought, because like I said before, in 83, I didn't believe in ghosts until all this stuff started happening at my apartment. And then when we moved to Marion, I was like, well, I must have, picked up something. They say you can pick up like stuff at flea markets and stuff that carry entities with them. And so now I'm back to, well, do I even believe in ghosts? Because I think it was them.
Yeah, direct energy weapons. Yeah.
And I
Robert Duncan
remember
said they've
back
done a
in,
bunch of different experiments with direct energy weapons in the past and made haunted houses and stuff. And makes you wonder
oh,
if
here, we have stuff all over here all the time. Like last night, I was in the bathroom and my husband was in the living room and I had a spray paint can sitting on the table and it just fell off the table. I know it was them.
right,
Anymore,
like it was secure on the table and and then flew off, right?
yeah, I'd been sitting there
Right.
all day
Right.
for probably 2 days. Yeah, there's stuff like that happens here all the time.
What do you experience? What do y'all experience when y'all get hit with direct energy weapons? Like I experience vibrations, my head heats up, my vision might get blurry, profuse sweating. Sometimes, like when I lose my vision, my head will get so hot it feels like it's melting, and I'll start getting vibrated and shocked real bad in the back of my head. And I can close my eyes and the vibrations and shocks happen. Not as much anymore and not as intense anymore since I've been doing some supplements, but that's what I feel with mine. Holly gets physical burns and she gets
Yeah,
shocks and vibrations too.
And they burn holes.
I
Yeah, they
have
burn
little
holes in
marks
her
all
body
over.
too.
Oh yeah, the same here. I have from the past 2 days, I've got like little dots on my shoulder and my back's all swollen, but mine's usually heat and sometimes like sharp pains. And then I get pressure on my ear and ringing. I can't hear as good out of my right ear as I could before,
Right.
but
Well, did you
I
try
get all
that
kinds.
handpan music me and Holly sent?
Well, I haven't yet because I sleep upstairs and I turn all the electric off. I don't take my phone up there. I mean, it isn't really helping, but I heard it would help.
Yeah, it will help
But
because they can use appliances to hit you too if they want.
yeah, I don't take my phone. I have a wind-up alarm clock. But before I knew what was going on, when the dew attacks
Yeah.
started, like night, it was like mellow during the day and then intense at night. I had a TV up there and I fell asleep and I woke up and there was like a white circle coming through the TV. So I turned everything off, but somehow the bathroom up there, one of the lights stayed on. Now both of them are staying on, so I figured that they were in the house when we were at the race. And what's so crazy is, you'll have people show up in your life that you're like, you've got to be connected. Because there's a guy that used to work on the race car years ago with my brother-in-law. He's in the FBI and his wife's in the FBI. He's an electrician in the FBI. She moves people around. Well, then my sister-in-law in Morgantown, one of her best friends' son is retired military, but I asked her what he did because she went to California to see him, and she said, he told me he can't tell me anything about his new job. So he's got to be a military contractor.
Right. And do y'all have any idea why this is happening to y'all?
I don't. There's a couple different theories. I'm pretty sure it started with me because if it started in 83, I didn't know my husband then. I know my mom and dad. My mom was also a victim. I just found this out recently, but she passed due to a blood clot in her lungs. When they got together, she pretty much sold him away from a woman that was pregnant. And my grandpa put that woman in a home to have the baby. So that could be one. My mom's dad had ties to the mafia. That could be one. And my ex-husband got somebody in West Virginia pregnant and then came back and married me, which I didn't know about.
Right.
So
It's just crazy how, people get put on this list, different people, different reasons. This whole thing is just insane.
Do they send honeypots to attack her? Or...
Do they send honeypots to attack you and your husband and try to break y'all up?
they haven't, me, and he don't really talk about it. He feels like that if he doesn't talk about it, then he isn't going to get attacked as much.
Right.
But like, he doesn't get the dues like I do, but they mess with the internet. They mess with the TV. He gets the ringing in the ear. He's got the sore on top of his head. He gets the microwave rash on his legs. But everything's real mild.
Right.
And so I don't know if he's not on any social medias to my knowledge, except for he has a Facebook page that he doesn't really use, but we were going to move. Like we came here, all this started, we were going to move and the guy had an ad, and you could only get hold of him through Facebook. So
I'm going to have to do a video on supplements I take because you can ask Holly. There was days where I sat all day in a chair with half-gallon water bags on my head. I was trying everything. They were burning me so bad. And ever since I've started taking certain supplements, I don't have to do that no more. It's not as intense, whatever I'm doing. I don't know how that works or whatever, but
I take
I
a
need to do one on
detox.
supplements.
I take a detox, but I sleep with ice packs. I have like, those reusable grocery bags. I have
Yeah.
3 of them full of ice packs. And I position them all over the bed, or if they wake me up and they're hitting me in my knee, I put one between my legs and my knee and all that.
Yeah,
So,
me and Holly's got this thing, this migraine ice cap, and
yeah,
we put it over our head when we're getting hit. It stays in the freezer.
yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah, and
Yep.
it helps tremendously if they're heating your head up.
And we had a Faraday cap that I got on Amazon, but my husband was using that like all the time because they'll hit him in his chair. He sits in a recliner and he works online all day. That's what he does, unless we have to travel to a show or he
Right.
takes phone calls. But he said that it seemed like it was making it worse. But we don't stay home. Like, we're not gonna isolate. We're not moving until we're ready. Since they killed his mom, we have to settle this estate, and
Right.
it's in probate.
And
So,
moving will waste so much money because it's not going to stop no matter where you go. It's just a waste of money and time.
right, when I went over to Clarksburg to look for apartments over there, there was a car that said "I Spy" on it, the tag.
Yeah.
And I had read that before. Like, when I get online, it's kind of scary because, I'll read something, then it happens to me. Like, another TI will post something, and then it'll happen to me, and I'll be like, maybe I shouldn't be on social media, but I'm not going to self-isolate. We're going to live our life, and they can kill me, and I will tell anybody, I don't care if people think I'm crazy or whatever. I'm going to get the word out. I have kids. I have grandkids. I see people with babies getting terrorized by these weapons. It's totally ridiculous. And, to kill a 91-year-old woman, 91 years old, she had a spot, just like my husband did, on her head when she died. She kept saying, hurt, hurt. She was to the point where she couldn't talk. And I took a video of her nursing room, the room in the nursing home she was staying at. Her oxygen machine light on the video was blinking, but in real time it wasn't blinking. So
Right.
they had weapons on that woman. She got to the point where she couldn't talk. We go to the hospital to visit her. They always put you towards the end of the hallway, I've noticed, because between her being in both nursing homes had her towards the end of the hallway. The hospital had her towards the end of the hallway. My brother-in-law was in the hospital. He has cancer. They moved him to the end of the hallway. And my sister-in-law, she was at the end of the hallway. She has cancer. So I'm not totally convinced that, the whole family hasn't been a target for some while.
All right.
Because with my mom, I lived in North Carolina, and I moved back home in 1995, and I stayed with my mom and my stepdad until I got an apartment. My stepdad had the ringing in his ears and the foot pain, and there was a family feud, so I hadn't talked to him for 10 years. Well, my mom had posted, after we made up, she had posted on Facebook that she was throwing up everything she ate. She couldn't keep down anything, water, nothing. And I sent her a message and told her, check your right, have them check your right ear, because she went to the doctor and no doctors could figure out what was wrong with her. No specialists, nothing. And they found a small blood clot in her lung. And then months later, it was too big to operate on. And that's what killed her.
Wow.
So that's how I traced it back to 95. And then I got to thinking about, well, maybe that ghost in Connecticut wasn't really a ghost. You know, my whole life I've been kind of airheaded and will think I put something somewhere and then find it 6 months later somewhere else, you know.
Has this affected your health in any way?
A couple years ago, before I knew I was a target, I was working at Long John Silver's. I was an associate manager. I was closing down the store and I was having pain, chest pain, and I couldn't breathe. So I went to the doctor and I had all these tests ran and everything. And, you know, they think I'm a hypochondriac. Well, when we moved here, we went to a doctor and they kept saying, anything else you want to tell me? Anything else you want to tell me? And I told Ron, I've heard that they pull doctors in on this. So my cholesterol, and I eat healthier than my husband. My cholesterol went off the charts, like off the charts to where they put me on the medicine. And I decided to go ahead and take it. But I told them last time I went to the doctor, I said, and she started that anything else you want to tell me crap. I showed her my videos. I said, I'm pretty sure you already know what's going on because you keep asking me if there's anything else you want me to tell you. I said, so here it is. And I'm going to tell you this right now. You're not going to run, because they kept trying to schedule a bunch of tests. I said, you're not running a bunch of tests on me. I said, I will get my blood pressure and cholesterol. I said, besides that, I said, if these people want to find out what they're doing to my body, I said, you tell them I said they can pay for it. And she was like, okay. She was just like nonchalant, like whatever.
And what would you say the most terrifying and traumatic psyop done on you was?
Well, when we before I knew what was going on, we were out here and I got hit real hard in the back and I thought I was, you know, going to have a heart attack and die. But like not knowing how long it's been going on for sure. I mean, I was raped when I was 15 years old by my friend's brother. You know, there's been different traumatic things that have happened to me in my lifetime. And so, you know, when I traced it back to like, well, maybe it was in 83, then I was like, you know, has my whole life been a lie? You know?
All right. I've talked to a bunch of targets that think that way. Well, has my whole life been a lie?
Because you don't know, like if nobody ever tells you, or because I don't know how I will ever really find out how long it's been going on. You know what I mean?
All right. I had somebody do a background check on me, and the crazy thing about the background check on me, they had every car I owned since I was 16, pictures of it and everything. I just thought that was weird.
wow.
Like, why would that's unheard of.
Yeah. And a background check for sure.
All the way when I was a kid, my first Ford Taurus, 1992 Ford Taurus, you know, every car was listed. That's what tripped me out about the whole out of everything. That's what tripped me out about it, you know. Why would they have pictures of my cars from all the way back? You know what I'm saying? That's just weird. That just lets me know that something wasn't right all my life.
Yeah. And see, that's what I'm like, because I've always felt like my sister had such good luck, you know. She was blessed so much. Every like bad situation she ever been in, she came out of it smelling like roses. And, you know, every time I turned around, it was something happening. But I've always tried to be a positive person. Like my husband will say something negative and I'll be like, oh, whatever, you know, it'll be all right. Don't think that way.
Right. I
So,
guess my most terrifying experience was when I was, they had just tried to get me on a bus. Anyway, it was I got off the bus. So then I get off the bus and I take another bus to Springfield, Missouri. I'm on my way to Mississippi. And then I start to get on that bus, and the same people that were on the other bus start to get on that bus the next day. So I didn't get on that bus. They won't let me check into hotels. I'm trying to find a place for the night because I'm exhausted. I'm sleep deprived. So I go to
yeah.
6 hotels trying to check in. Every time they would start checking me in, be nice, like, oh yeah, you got a bed, blah, blah, blah. And then they'd get a call. Then they'd come back, well, Mr. Atkins, we can't give you a bed, blah, blah, blah. So then when I walk
Yeah.
out of the hotel, the 6th hotel, I hear my wife's voice and her friends say, ha, 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 he can't even get a hotel room. He don't know what to do. And I immediately start
Hmm.
looking for him in the parking lot. I didn't know that V2K had started for me. So that was just a terrifying experience I remember. And do you
I
experience
haven't,
V2K at all?
not yet. I mean, I think, like when we had the cat, I would hear a cat all the time, but I think that was just, them, the sound, because all I hear is ringing real bad, and sometimes the pitch will change real high,
Yep.
but mostly I have really bad pressure on my right ear, and
Yeah, Holly
sometimes
gets
I'll,
that really bad, and that link I sent you, that's what we listened to at night, and her ears were so bad. I mean, it was bothering her real bad. And Lorraine from Alternative Homesteading referred us to that handpan music, and it worked, didn't it, Holly? For tinnitus.
Really does.
yeah, I'll take like a wet wipe or a wet tissue and put in my ear to try to relieve, the pressure. You could feel them like hitting you in the ear. And then they spray crap on us 24/7, pretty much now. I clean the house, and we have glass coffee tables that were his mom's, and it's just got dust all over it. And
Is it thick,
it,
sticky dust? Real sticky?
it's not, no, not real well, there's three types of spray they use on us, because I've cleaned it up, and one's like a little black powder. One's a super fine powder that they hit us with in the morning. It's every single morning. Like you wake up and your teeth are covered with it. Um, and the other is like I guess that might be the sticky you're talking about. It's like little white, and it's got that glitter stuff in it, like little
Yeah.
flakes. Yeah. But that's been going on for months and months and months.
And so
And
how do
there's
you and
nothing,
your husband cope with going through this?
he pretty much just, he doesn't talk about it, but he just says they're not gonna run his life. So, and for the first year, I flipped out. And I try to, get information and stuff, but I'm at the point now where, like I said, I don't care. They can do whatever they want to me. Um, I'm not gonna give in to they're not gonna pressure me into moving. They're not gonna pressure me into going to the doctor. They can do whatever,
Right.
and I know doing this interview, I'm going to get hit 20 times harder than I did yesterday, but it is what it is, because people need to know what's going on, you know.
Right. And the more stories we get out there, the more, when people say, well, target individuals, that's just crazy. Well, that's why I'm trying to accumulate as many stories on my YouTube channel as I can to show people, hey, all these different people saying this is stuff happening. This is not a coincidence. This is not craziness. I mean, what are they going to do? Write the DMSV, targeted individual diagnosis in the DSM? I mean,
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if they
yeah.
didn't.
I know when I went to the emergency room the first, when I got hit in the back real hard, because I didn't know what was going on. We we're standing at the fence, and my husband took the shotgun out and fired it, and they hit me from behind in the back super, super hard. And I told him I can't breathe, and he took me to the emergency room. They didn't do anything. That doctor came in. It's not even on a record anywhere. Like any visit I've had here is not on my medical record. And when we were in Ohio, they ran tests on my neck. They did some kind of test where they poke needles in you to see how far, if there's nerve damage in your arms and stuff. And I forget what the other test was, but none of it's on my medical record anymore. Like, I forget the name of it. What's that Ohio Health where you can see your records? Huh? Yeah, you go on my chart and they were there, but they're not there anymore.
Wow. Yeah, I'm familiar with my chart.
Yeah, so you know how they run the test and then you can go view it.
Yeah.
Those tests I have on my neck and that test that doctor did to see about nerve damage in my arms does not show up on my chart. And then the emergency room visit and the visit that I had when I first got here with this doctor, they have a similar thing. It's not called my chart, but it's like my chart. I don't have one. They have a record on my husband, but they don't have one on me. And we both went to the, doctor visits at the same time. And then I went to the emergency room. So I don't know.
All right. I got, let's see, if you, and do you have, is there anything, advice you would give to target individuals if there's somebody watching that, that that is new to this and don't understand what's going on? Is there any advice you'd like to give them?
Well, I would say to try to research as much as you can. Don't flip out because it's really hard not to flip out. I flipped out. I mean, last year I flipped out. I didn't know what was going on. I was scared half to death, and that's what they want. And as far as the gang stalking, just try to ignore them. I mean, the more you ignore them, the less they get paid, from what I understand. I'm still learning. I don't really, know a lot about the different, I know the weapons, but like I can't identify like the light coming into my house. I don't know what that is. But I do
Right.
know the more I shield the house, the worse my attack gets.
We got 3 military drones that hover above our house. Do y'all got any drones? And then they follow Holly to work. Do y'all have any drones that follow y'all?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's drones all the time.
Right now.
And my husband said one right now. There's one above us right now. I'm sitting on the front porch. And
Right.
you can hear them. And sometimes you can see them. But yeah, whenever we go to town and back, there won't be a car anywhere. And I get hit in the back all the time when I'm in the car, like all the time.
Yeah.
And they called us when his sister thought that the nurse said that they couldn't find a blood pressure on his mother. So she called us in and we went to the nursing home. There were 8 drones above the nursing home. And then
Wow.
it was a false alarm. So we stopped at Kroger on the way home, and I got pictures of like 4 drones, and I said my husband said there was 9 of them. And
This is in Elkins, West Virginia, rural.
BFE, yeah. But my husband said, I said, look at that. And I started taking pictures. So people in the Kroger parking lot were looking up and like, what the heck's going on? They have a small airport, but nothing that would support a jet or anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we have drones, and
A lot above our house.
I'm gonna show a picture real
I
quick.
don't,
I'm
I
gonna show
don't
that
have
picture of your
helicopters,
blinds.
but I have, oh yeah.
And that's a picture of her blinds.
Stairs in the bathroom, caulking windows. And I took the Mylar off the window, and this is what the blinds look like.
The blinds have melted.
Down at night is coming satellites.
I just wanted to show that real quick, and you know, because she posted a lot of evidence. I didn't have time to really go through and get the evidence.
And my husband said that satellites too. He believes that, you know, satellites have something to do with it.
Yes.
Right, because if you notice, them blinds are melted like they got really, really hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those were the. Those
And it
were the
happened in
worst
multiple
ones.
rooms, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did. That was the worst one, and then the other bathroom downstairs, which is right under that room upstairs. Those blinds were bad. I kept them. I put them out in a shed
And all
because.
of our neighbors are driving around in brand new vehicles.
Wow.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, he said
Oh,
all
yeah.
the neighbors are driving around in brand new vehicles. Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. This
Well, I'm
guy
a
that
firm
just-
believer in what goes around comes around. So
Oh, me too. Because if it don't happen on Earth, then you know, these people
Exactly.
must not believe heaven or hell.
well, is there
Because
anything else
to
you'd
me-
like to say before we go and close out?
No, I appreciate you talking to me.
No problem. I appreciate you being brave enough to tell your story.
Well, like I said, I as far as me personally, I don't care anymore what happens to me. I'm 60 years old. I've had a decent life, you know, but you younger people and your children, you know, and your pets, and I can't in good faith not speak up, you know. I can't do it. I've never been, I mean, I raised butterflies because they were going extinct. A butterfly, you know.
Right.
I'm not, because I didn't want this world to be without butterflies. I didn't want my grandchildren not to know what a butterfly was, you know. So I'm not the kind of person that's going to keep my mouth shut just because some bully with a direct energy weapon's going to shine it on me and hurt me worse if I talk. They're going to hurt me no matter what I do. So therefore, I don't care. They can do whatever they want to me. I'm worried about the younger generation and these old people that, like Ron's mom, that they terrorize. You know, 91 years old. My mom was 76 years old. My stepdad is a Vietnam veteran. You know, my ex-husband was military. I was a military wife for 8 years and
Wow.
went without, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so these people, especially if, you know, veterans are involved, military, Space Force, whatever, you know, how in the world can you live knowing that you're killing people? And the word just needs to get out. People need to know that this is a real thing. It's really happening. And like I said, go on DARPA's website. They'll show you all the freaking weapons.
Yep.
And the fact that they say they don't test on humans or animals, how many other times has the government lied about different things?
Plenty of times.
So, you know,
Yeah.
that's all
Well, I
can
thank
say.
y'all for coming out. Hold on, I'm gonna stop recording and then we can say our goodbyes. I really appreciate you coming out, Jonda. You know,
Thank
I see
you.
your evidence on Facebook and stuff, so I know you're a real TI, so that's why I was kind of wanting to interview you. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna close the interview out right